What's up, you guys? Hello and welcome to the next edition of the Student Ministries Do Something Awesome, because we miss you a lot. Right, Robert?
Yes, greetings.
Okay.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello. We are gonna play a drawing game because I have been playing this game called Drawful. It's a Jackbox game with my family during our family FaceTime Zoom hangouts on Tuesday nights. And so I thought it would be fun to play a drawing game. So we're gonna call it Drawfully Awesome.
Call it what?
Drawfully. Right?
Yeah, no, that sounds great.
Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. We can't use our hands, Robert.
Oh,
Okay? So you have to, without using your hands, so probably putting the pen in your mouth and drawing.
okay.
We are going to,
Seizure! Oh!
The fantastic Kate is going to tell us what word we're gonna draw. And then
yes.
we're gonna draw it, and then you guys are gonna vote. So we're not even gonna know who the winner is until youth group this week. So you guys are gonna vote between each round, and then we'll find out the winner, and the winner has to deliver a drink of choice to the loser sometime this week. Sound good, Robert?
Sounds great.
20 seconds for every round.
Okay.
You're in charge of the timer.
Okay.
Okay?
I can do that.
Any questions?
None for me.
Okay.
Kate, what's our first word?
is
Hydro flask.
Okay.
How do I know when to start?
3, 2, 1, go! Well, that went by kind of fast. All right. All right, round one, done. Easy.
Round 2.
A dog.
Sick. All right, you ready?
Oh,
3, 2, 1, go.
Round 3.
Eraser.
Oh.
Okay.
Round 3.
Draw your house.
My house. Should we give ourselves 30 seconds for this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Katrina's been starting early anyway.
I
Oh my gosh. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh my God, I feel high. Oh no. That was my worst one yet.
All right.
Round 4.
The Last Supper.
Oh. Okay. 3, 2, 1. No, you started already. Here. Oh my god.
The question is this a tiebreaker or not?
Who knows?
Okay.
It's up to you.
Okay, round 5.
Draw each other.
All right.
I'm waiting.
You should wait till I actually start it this time.
I will.
Oh my gosh. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh no.
All right, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that.
Okay, well, the winner will deliver coffee to the loser.
Come on, Riot. Faithfulness right
This
here.
is not about favorites. This is about drawing expertise.
And
We're gonna go sanitize these pens.
yeah.
We love you all. We hope you have an awesome week.
Thanks for tuning in. Let's go. Hey guys, okay, so there's this movie called 500 Days of Summer, and it's kind of an older movie, but there's a scene where the main character, Tom, he arrives at this party at his crush's house, right? All like pent up, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get to see my crush, okay? All this expectation. And then the film divides into 2 parallel scenes, so they're literally like, it's playing the same scene on 2 sides of the screen. And one on the bottom says expectations, and the other one says reality. And then you like play this through in this party, and you see how the expectations and the reality slowly start to get further and further and further apart from each other. And he hopes that his expectations will line up with reality, but obviously reality crushes his expectations, and he's devastated. So I don't know if you've seen that. You can look it up on YouTube. It's the expectation versus reality scene from 500 Days of Summer. But alas, this like is a familiar experience for us, right? We build up expectations. We want life to be a certain way, but then we've experienced that pain of reality not aligning with that at all. And this is a human thing, and it goes deeper than just the crush that isn't reciprocating those feelings, right? This is a picture of our entire life in a lot of ways. The reality is God made the world. He made it good and perfect, but sin entered in, and we've talked about this before, right? And so creation, which includes us, is broken. Life has unfortunate turns of events, relationships, pain, all that stuff is real, and it's part of who we are. If you're tuning in, thanks for joining us for Riot this week. We're going to start a new series in a new book of the Bible that I'm pretty excited about. So thanks for tuning in. We're going to talk about real life, real stuff, and what's really true. So thanks for being here. We have a sense that things in life are not the way that they're supposed to be, right? It's like we're longing for something that we hope to be there, but it just seems farther and farther away. And we know that this world that we live in, reality is broken, but we long for it not to be that way. Expectation. So what do we do in response to this suffering that we see in the world, the way that things do not align with reality? What do we do when we're in quarantine and we've lost things and stuff is hard, right? There's a book in the Old Testament that's often overlooked, and it's called Lamentations. And it comes from the word lament, which is an older word that we don't use very often today. But it basically means to express sorrow or regret, often like in reality, like physically. Like it's more than just, oh man, I feel sad. It like moves you to the core and often causes like a physical response. Like when you think of a really, really devastating moment where you've just like broken down. That is kind of a picture of lament, right? This book in the Bible is a poem about that feeling. Think of a high schooler who gets his or her heart broken, goes into their room to write a poem or a song on the guitar, right? This is basically the book of Lamentations, but like multiplied by 100, not to discount the pain of a broken heart. But you'll see that what we've got going on in Lamentations is intense. So here's a little bit of the backstory, okay? City of Jerusalem, which is what God's people saw as the city of God, right? Being there and them being God's people. Jerusalem, really, really important to their culture, to their relationship with God, all that kind of stuff, okay? The city is destroyed, like straight up flattened by Babylon, stronger, bigger nation, and God's people are carried off into captivity. So that's kind of an intense scene, kind of an important thing to their people and their culture. And why did this happen? How could God allow this city to be destroyed if it was like the place where his people were supposed to be? The author of this poem of lament is anonymous, but is most likely the prophet Jeremiah, which is important because it comes right after the book of Jeremiah where he's warning all of God's people about, hey, if you keep living the way you're going to live, things aren't going to end up well. And then here we are. So this idea of lament, right, is an important but often overlooked response to the suffering we experience. And honestly, like as Christians, we're uncomfortable with lament. Usually when someone is suffering, we're quick to give cliches like, hey, remember, God's in control, or this is all part of God's plan, or maybe worst of all, like this is God's will. We need to get back to the actual biblical practice of lament. We need to be honest with others, with ourselves, and most importantly with God. That life is rough and messy, right? That's just real. So this series is going to be all about hurt and lament, but more importantly, inspiring healthy conversations for you and your small group on the topic of suffering and our response to it, right? The goal is not that each week you're having a small group and you're leaving just feeling like totally sad and drained. You're not seeing life with a glass half empty kind of perspective. The goal is that you would know that it's okay to be honest about the roughness of life and how to lament it. And I don't think there's a more fitting time in history than right now for you guys to feel some of these feelings in regards to what's going on and the things that we've lost in our normal life. So we're going to look briefly at Lamentations chapter 1 today. And I'm going to read just a few sections of it for us to think about so you can get a picture of what this book is like. Here are verses 1 and 2. How deserted lies the city, once so full of people. How like a widow is she, who once was great among the nations. She who was queen among the provinces has now become a slave. Bitterly she weeps at night. Tears are on her cheeks. Among all her lovers there is no one to comfort her. All her friends have betrayed her. They have become her enemies. They're kind of personifying this idea of the city, right? Verses 11 and 12. All her people groan as they search for bread. They barter their treasures for food to keep themselves alive. Look, Lord, and consider, for I am despised. Is it nothing to you, all who pass by? Look around and see, is any suffering like my suffering that was inflicted on me, that the Lord brought on me in the day of his fierce anger? The Lord is righteous, yet I rebelled against his command. Listen, all you peoples, look on my suffering. My young men and young women have gone into exile. I called to my allies, but they betrayed me. My priests and my elders perished in the city while they searched for food to keep themselves alive. Right, so as I mentioned before, Jerusalem has been destroyed, and the prophet Jeremiah is distraught. Their whole way of life, their culture, their homes are gone. And I can't imagine that level of loss and despair. But look at what he doesn't say, right? He doesn't say, it's no big deal. He doesn't say, oh, it'll all blow over. Because he knows that this is real, this is big. And fun fact about what he did write, what he did say, is at the beginning of every verse in that chapter starts with the subsequent letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which is kind of neat for poetry. But anyway, he's like pouring his heart out. He's feeling all the feels, whatever you want to call it, and it's okay. It's okay. And as followers of Jesus, we do have a supernatural joy that is given to us. And we have a hope that is like of what's to come and is different than anything that this world can offer. But that doesn't mean that stuff doesn't just straight up suck sometimes. Sometimes things are really stinking hard. And God doesn't want us to pretend like that's not the case. We don't have to pretend with him or with other people. What's kind of cool is that when I was in high school, your social media was all about putting forth the perfect version of yourself, right? And so everyone's Instagram accounts and stuff, that the best scenarios, the best scenes of their life were what they put on social media. But now there's what I've kind of started to see is a way different, higher level of honesty coming from you guys on social media. And there are good motivations for that, and there are bad motivations for that. There are good examples of it and poor examples of it. But what I think it is the symptom of are people who are a little bit more honest about their feelings. You know that it's okay to feel the feels. And so if there's one thing that I could like speak to you tonight as we begin this series on hurt and lament, is that it's okay to be honest about your feelings. And it's okay to be honest with your small group leader. It's okay to be honest with your friends. Most importantly, though, I hope that you feel like you can be honest with God. With the one who not only cares the very most, but is also the most capable of doing something about it. The people that are worst at this right now, I think, could very well be Christians. We pretend that things are okay when they really aren't, and we wear the mask, and we show up to riot, or we show up to church, and we feel like we have to be okay because that's the expectation. But that's got to stop. We have to learn to lament. And it's kind of a weird idea, but we need to, right? We need to learn what it is to lament the injustice in this world, because the reality is this isn't just about us. It's two-sided. In one sense, we need to lament external injustice, slavery, racism, lack of education, child malnutrition, right? There are things in this world that should cause us deep, deep sorrow, especially as followers of Jesus. And the other side of that coin is that we need to lament those things that are personal, the personal hardships like losing a friend, a broken relationship, mental and health issues, abuse, etc. This is the process that we're entering into these next few weeks, is that we're going to learn to lament. So buckle up, get ready, and I would challenge you guys to be one level more honest with your small group leader and your small group members than you were before. And know that these times in small group together are going to be a journey towards like real life, living in this world, actually feeling what we're supposed to feel, and being okay with that. So I'm going to pray, and then you guys are going to go to your small groups and have a really good conversation is what I'm hoping for. Lord, thank you so much for the fact that you allow us to feel these things. God, you gave us the emotions that we feel, and you have said that it's okay, and we're not supposed to suppress that, Lord. We're not supposed to forget about that. Lord, you've given us a joy and a hope that far outweighs any circumstance that we could be in. But God, that doesn't take the bad things away, and you want us to bring that to you. You want us to feel that. You want that to motivate us to action. And so, God, as we explore that over the next few weeks, teach us. Teach us what it is to lament. Lord, we love you. We pray these things in your name. Amen. All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next week. All right, guys, so now you're going to head to small group. If you don't have a leader, if you're tuning into this and you're like, man, I don't know what this is about, there's an email that you can click on in the description and send a message to us being like, hey, what's going on? And then we will hook you up with a leader and make that happen for you, because in this season more than ever, right, we need that community. We need people that care about us, okay? In your small group, your leader is going to take you through some questions regarding this topic of lament. And so I'm excited for you to jump into that. And if that's nerve-wracking to you, trust me that those are safe people who care about you as a person. That's why they do what they do. That's why they give their time to hang out with high schoolers. I also wanted to remind you about our Monday challenge. It started this Monday, and it's going to go all the way through to next Monday. So if you haven't turned one in yet, it's not too late. You are going to recreate an old photo of yourself from like when you were a kid, and as many aspects of that photo that you can recreate in a present photo, the better. And we are going to reward the winner for the most accurate one and perhaps the funniest one. So be looking for those to come out next Monday when the next challenge comes out, and we hope to get your submissions by Sunday. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys.